make your work your hobby and every day's a holiday. It's about my journey, it's about things that have happened to me, it's how I got here today and why I do what I do. So let's crack on. So who am I, why am I here, what do I do? I spent 7 years with Burroughs and Unisys in the UK, Australia and Europe. And in that experience of 7 years, I learned all about culture, that wonderful thing called culture. Now culture is not just something, different countries, it's individuals. We all have our own culture. And it's a really important aspect of life where we need to understand how culture is working. Then I spent 2 years consulting in the UK, in Sweden, in Spain and America, and I really started to understand this whole concept of transformation. And transformation is not just this event, transformation is a way of being transformative. And today, with the way the business world is changing so rapidly, I mean, we're doing a Facebook Live here. I mean, 5 years ago, this was impossible, but now it's like normal. It's like everybody's doing them all the time. So the world, you have to be able to continue transforming business to be transformative. And then I spent 10 years running my own boutique hotel, which was a beautiful experience. I mean, it's probably the best time in my life. And we had a fantastic life there. We had 47 staff, lots of guests, and it was brilliant. The thing about that was I learned all about the difference between the high tech, which is the product and the services you actually deliver, and then the high touch, how you deliver it. And also the reason that experience is so much more important than the product, because you can have an average product delivered excellently and people will just absolutely love that. And then I started a beauty salon business, and we had beauty salons in the UK, Spain, Canada and Mexico, and we were in partnership with Unilever. It was a fantastic business, but it went horribly wrong. So I had the business of my dreams, and then I had the albatross around my neck. In that, I learned very clearly about strategy and how important strategy is. And the thing about strategy is everyone has to have the same strategy, because if some people are going in that direction and you're going in that direction, it doesn't work. So you need to be having the same strategy. So what did that look like? Well, basically, we had beauty salons and spas. They were called Dove Spa in the UK, and we had them all across the country doing really well. We had 29 in the UK. But I found myself that I was running around like a headless chicken. My relationship with my business partner had gone south. He was doing some things I didn't like. The business was challenging. We had people in there that were really challenging. And I was actually feeling lost, completely lost, and stressed to hell. And then, which happens to a lot of people, I had a heart attack. And that was a big wake-up call. It was like, oh my God, what am I doing this for? What am I running around like a blue-ass fly for if, I'm just going to end up dead? So I started to make some changes in my life, but not quick enough, because the stress had also damaged my relationship with my wife, and I got divorced. Now, that's happened too, so heart attacks and divorce are very common these days. And then I sort of got the triumvirate. I went and got cancer, which is not nice, and also that adds to the stress. So heart attack, divorce, cancer in a very short space of time. And after that, I thought, well, I've got to start trying and pushing, and I was still trying and still pushing and struggling away and not feeling very great about it. Yes, very sad, Faith, going across the page just then. And then one morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, I went to the toilet at a friend's house, and I'm from the top stair, and I slipped on the top step. And I ended up at the bottom of the stairs, but my right shoulder wasn't where it should be, it was here in my lap. I dislocated, in fact I'd severed 3 of the 4 tendons that hold together the rotator cuff. And that basically forced me to stop. I was at the bottom of the stairs, literally, and I was at the bottom of the pile. And in that moment of being forced to stop, what I was able to do was actually do some reflection, to pause and think about what had worked in my life, what hadn't worked in my life. And I started to realise there were some patterns there, some things that I'd done again and again that had ended up with these sorts of problems happening in my life. And when I realised that, I was able to start reading. Now, I'd had a 2.5-hour operation to rebuild my shoulder. It worked brilliant enough. But the thing was that the anaesthetic had really badly affected me. So for 3 weeks, I couldn't read a serious book. I think I was trying to read Tipping Point by Gladwell. And every time I got to the bottom of the first page, I was like, I don't know what that means. I could read trashy novels, that was fine. But after 3 weeks, I started to be able to read and understand and take in new ideas. And when I'd done that for a period of 6 weeks, then I was able to start again. And I restarted and relaunched my consulting business. And it just became a new thing, because I started to realise that what I wanted to do was help small business owners get unstuck. Because I had got to that point, and it was, heart attack, cancer, divorce. I mean, these are miserable things, and you don't want that to happen to people. Now, we all have goals. I mean, if I could say, put your hands up, you've all got goals. Of course we've got goals. And some of us will achieve probably more than 50% of our goals on a regular basis. But that means there's still some stuff that we don't achieve. And guess what we focus on? We focus on stuff we don't achieve. And that can bring us down. And maybe here's a suggestion that what we need to start to think about is not aspiring to our goals, but actually working on something else. Because if aspiring to our goals was actually the fulcrum that really helped us get everywhere in life, that would be brilliant. But guess what? It's not. So actually, what we need to think about is, what else could we do? Well, you're standing or sitting on a floor right now. You're standing on the bottom of what you take in life. We all have standards in life, and the floor, the thing we stand on, is our base standard. Because we rise to the lowest level, to our lowest level of toleration. And if we want to improve in life, the best thing to do, rather than setting huge goals that we may not achieve, is start to lift the floor that we're standing on. Start to lift our levels of lowest toleration. And if we do that, what we're going to do is start to perform better. Because we're going to not perform at this level, we're going to come up. We're starting to perform at that level. And if you start performing at a higher level, your goals are going to become a lot easier to reach. So instead of working on the goals, yes, sure, have goals. I think it's really important we have goals. It's vital we have goals. But then look at your standards of behaviour, of what you're doing, and start to lift those up. Because if you do that, you get to the goals quicker. Now, when we're doing business and we're going out, what do people risk? Well, look what happened to me. We risk our time. We run around like Bull's flies. We haven't got enough time. We're all time poor. We risk our money. We put our money into things. We keep putting our money into things, hoping it's going to work out. We risk our health, heart attack, cancer. Yeah. We risk our family, divorce. Yes, it happens. I've been there, done that, seen that, got the t-shirt, and it's horrible. But the outcome of that is that we end up burning the candle at both ends, and we think that's courageous. If you've ever spoken to lawyers, they're quite happy to brag about how many long nights they've done in a row. I was at a lawyers conference once, and this guy just came in and said, "Joe, I've just done 3 all-nighters in a row." And the guy said, "Oh, that's nothing, mate, I've done 4. It's like, yeah, that was really a big thing to brag about. And we risk that time and money. We run out of it. We deplete our health. We deplete our family relationships. This whole idea of martyrdom. We all know martyrs who just go out there and do things the whole time. God, yeah, I'll do it. At what cost to their family and their life and what's going on in the whole world? They'd rather die for something than live for something. To live for the future, to live for their family, to live for the dreams that they've got. And they end up just grimly suffering rather than flourishing. And I bet you, if you look around your community, your world, the people you see on a regular basis, there are going to be there who are grimly suffering rather than flourishing. And those people having a really tough time. And they're trying their hardest to get on there. But they're risking the wrong stuff. They're risking their health. They're risking their time, their money, their family relationships. They're risking all of that. But what should you risk? Well, there's alternative things you can risk. First of all, you can risk your heart. Not the heart, the thing that's beating in your chest, but the emotional heart. You can risk your reputation. You can put that on the line on a regular basis. You can risk your comfort. You can get out of your comfort zone on a regular basis. So what do I mean about risking your heart? Well, if you're risking your heart, you've got to be believing in something. Now, you're all doing businesses. Somewhere in there is something that you believe in strongly. That's what you've got to put out front. That's what you've got to show high above everything else. You've got to champion your vision of how your world could be if people are working with you or consuming your products, the visions that you have for what could happen in the future, and be that champion. You've got to trust other people. You've got to open your heart and let people in, because then they can contribute to you. Then they can be there on the journey with you. And you've got to be the leader. You've got to be the leader. Heart is the biggest thing a leader has. And if you get that right, then you're able to set a path. You'll be able to have the purpose, the courage, to elicit courage from others, to elicit service from others, and have people perform at high values. That all comes from really risking your heart and standing out there and standing for something. Then it's your reputation. Now, how many of you are happy to be seen as foolish, stupid or wrong? Because that's what it takes to be a great business person. You've got to risk that. Now, the people who think you're foolish, stupid or wrong are probably not your customers. But that's not the point. You've got to be able to willing to risk that to find the people who actually buy into what you're selling. You're going to be misunderstood by your audience. That's fine. And if you're misunderstood by your audience, you can take action to make it better, to get your communication better. There are going to be people on this program today, here on 4NT Live, who are not going to get it, who are going to misunderstand the message here. But that's normal. If you speak to 100 people, then maybe only 30 of them are going to really get your message, and the rest of them are going to get some of it. You're going to be questioned and attacked in public by people. You're going to always, you need to act always the way that people don't expect. You've got to step up and do something different and stand out. You've got to put your head above the parapet. And then finally, your comfort. How many of you are willing to be stretched, frightened, and exposed on a daily basis? Because that's what it takes. You've got to be up there and outside of your comfort zone. You've got to seek problems and commit to solving them. And you've got to let go of those habits that you've got that are holding you back. And you've got to start to set a new path. And it's a choice you make every day. Great book, The Compounding Effect by Darren Hardy, talks about taking little steps continuously over a period of time to get the full effect. Nothing happens quickly. There's no get-rich-quick schemes that really work. And you've got to go for growth and expansion rather than rest and reassurance, because it's not about being in comfort, it's about being in abundance. So be abundant with everything you do in your life. Now, what stops us? Well, fear is the biggest thing that stops us. Now, not the fear that if a lion comes rushing into the room is going to eat you, you want to run as quick as you can out the other way. Not that sort of fear. No. Fear of false evidence appearing real. And that's because our front brain is really creative and it can invent things, and then our old brain goes, oh, I'm terrified of that. And it treats it as if it's a lion, but it's not. It's something you've made up. So it's things like fear of failure, or fear of growing your business, fear of recruiting or commitment or responsibility, holding you back. Fear of regret, and also that lovely one, fear of success. What would happen if you were that successful? How would your life change? It's going to be changed. It's fear of change as well. But what we've got to do is do the right work. Now, what is the right work? Well, the right work is not doing the hard work. Now, what's hard work? Hard work is the stuff you struggle with. It's the stuff you don't enjoy. It's the stuff you feel compelled to do. It's the stuff that you have no alternative but to do yourself. That's where you feel stuck in that job. That's the hard work. The good work is the work that energizes you, it lifts you up, that gives you energy and joy and happiness. The stuff that you don't need to be paid for, but please get paid for it. It's always important to get paid for the work you do. And it doesn't feel like work. And then there's the necessary work. And this is the bit that most people miss out. The necessary work is building the foundations in your business, the working environment, giving it the direction and the leadership that means your business can move forward. And that's the stuff we have to focus on. Anthony Robbins says, the meteor preparation with opportunity creates the offspring we call luck. Yes, it does, but you still got to put in the work to make it happen. To convert the luck into reality, you need to put in the hard work. So what does getting the necessary work done mean? Well, in my perspective, it's this. Really be clear about your purpose, your big why, what you're doing it for. You've got to have a clear vision of where your business is going, so that not only people working with you can contribute, but your customers know what you're doing as well. Because if they don't understand, they're not going to be your customers. You've got to be clear about your values. Values are what we hire and fire people for. They are really important. They're not soft and woolly. And it's who you are. It represents who you are as a person in the world. You need to be passionate about what you do. Where are you going? Why are you going there? And be willing to stand up and get out and stand up above the parapet and go, this is what I'm doing. This is why I do it. Because if you're able to do that, then people can buy into you. And then you've got to find the right people to fill those roles to help you on your journey, because you need to have the right people with you to make things done. So the necessary work is developing the behaviour standards in your business so that people know how they can contribute to you and contribute to your customers. It's designing your customer experience so the minute somebody finds you, that journey they come with you on in your business, you've got to design that. You're in charge of it. It's 100% your design, because you're designing it for your business. And you've got to be bold enough and brave enough and have the courage to be really clear what that journey is. Be the courageous leader. Be courageous. It's a choice we make. And then delegate the hard work as quickly and as regularly as possible. Because if it's not your superpower, find someone whose superpower it is. So there's a couple of people here in the accounting world and bookkeeping world. I'm crap at that stuff. I delegate it out because otherwise it would be a complete mess. So don't end up doing things that aren't your superpower. Get them out to somebody else, because give them to somebody who is going to actually love doing those jobs, and you focus on your superpower. That's the best part of it. Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. Helen Keller said that. We need to work with people. Even if you're a solopreneur, you do rely on other people, whether they're virtual assistants, the people that will supply you with Facebook, whatever. We rely on other people. We need to work together. We need to do that. But what will stop you? Well, what's going to stop you is a lack of clarity. What's going to stop you is not knowing your big purpose, your vision, your values and your roles, and therefore being confused and running around in circles. You've got to have the right behaviour. If you don't behave consistently with where you're going, then you ain't going to get there. And you need to be able to deliver a consistent experience to your customers. And by consistent, I mean every time they come, they get the same experience, whether it's from you or a colleague. They get the same feeling, the same emotional experience. And you've got to be that effective leader. Because if you are not being an effective leader, the people around you are going to make up how they deliver it. And your customers are going to get confused at wherever, Wembley and back. So just make sure that your customers really understand that you're the leader of your business and that it's running the way you want it to run. So I want to leave you with 3 big questions. And these 3 big questions, if you can answer these 3 big questions and get it really down to really powerful sentences that really talk about your business, then you're well on the way to being able to identify the necessary work and put that into practice, because then you can delegate the hard work to other people. So who is your business for? Who is your perfect customer? Why are they your perfect customer? Who is your business for? Really dig deep into that question so you really understand what it means. What does your business do? Now, doesn't mean what it physically does. Yes, that's part of the answer. But the most important part of the answer to what does your business do is what does it do for your customers? What is the outcome it delivers to your customers? What is the benefit it gives to them? What is the transformation that it delivers to your customers? You know, some people are, I was talking to a lady just the other day. I was doing a presentation at a local breakfast meeting in Hazelmere. And she was talking about, I don't quite know my story. I was talking about storytelling and how that can be used to get customers. And she doesn't understand the impact that her reorganization of people's finances has on somebody's business. And we spent about 15 minutes just helping her understand the transformation that she creates. Don't say you're a bookkeeper, say what you do at the end of it, what happens at the end of it. And then the final question is, why are you doing it? Why are you doing the business you're doing? Now, that is a very strange question, and I want to make it a little bit more strange because I want to get you really clear about how does your business serve you? What is it doing for you in your life? Be really clear about that. Now, when you find those answers and have those answers really clearly in your mind, then you can start to identify the right sort of people to work with you and build a great team. So, who is your business for? What does your business do? Why are you doing it? Get really clear on those answers and you'll be doing really fantastic. And then find the people to get a great team around you, because we can't do it on our own.